This video is to help you continue to learn multi-step equations and inequalities. We're going to start right here with number 6. Number 6, remember, we need to follow the steps in order to solve this problem. Our step 1 is distribute if necessary. So, we need to distribute. We need to distribute this 8. What is 8 times 2w? 16w. What is 8 times negative 1? Negative 8. And from here, I'm just going to copy down the rest of the problem until we're ready for our next step. So step 2, remember, is combine like terms. So in order to do that, we need to find out what our like terms are. 16w minus 4w. Rewriting it is totally optional. (16w minus 4w) is 12w. Add 8 to both sides. Now the signs are different, so we need to subtract. 116 minus 8 is 108. What kind of 108? Negative 108, because 116 is the bigger number and it has the negative sign. From here, we need to divide by 12. And so w equals negative 9. Why is it negative? Because a negative divided by a positive is negative. Okay, and I did forget to write step 3 over here. After we've combined like terms, all that's left to do is solve. So in this step, after all of our like terms were combined, we went through the process of solving. Remember, that's doing PEMDAS in reverse. I'm going to save number 7 for later. Number 8, we have some fractions we need to start looking at. This is 1/2 that we need to distribute. What is 1/2 of 10x? 1/2 of 10x is 5x. What is 1/2 of negative 2? 1/2 of negative 2 is negative 1. So after we distribute, we're looking for like terms. I have a 5x and 3x. I'm going to put next to each other. So next step, combine like terms. 5x plus 3x is what? 8x. And from here, after we've combined like terms, it's time to solve. What do we do first? We add 1 to both sides first. What is negative 25 plus 1? Negative 24. Our last step is to divide both sides by 8. Here I've just turned the problem around, so I have my variable on the left. What is negative 24 divided by 8? It is negative 3. So let's take a look at number 9 next. I have a negative 5/2 that I need to distribute inside this set of parentheses here. So we didn't do this for the last problem, even though we had a fraction, because it was pretty easy for us to think about what was half of 10x, what was half of negative 2. But this time it's a little bit more difficult to just come up with that without writing anything down. So what I need to do is I need to put each of these over 1 to make them fractions also. And this 7 right here, we're not doing anything with the 7 quite yet. We just need to copy it down. So I'm multiplying. This is a minus sign right here. So negative 5/2 times 8r over 1. Then I need to write down negative 5/2 again. Negative 5/2. This time I'm multiplying it times negative 6 over 1. So how do we multiply fractions together? We multiply fractions together by multiplying straight across. So that's what we'll do next. 7, still hanging on to that 7. A negative 5 times 8r is a negative 40r. 2 times 1 is 2. So I have a negative 40r over 2. Negative 5 times negative 6 is 30. And 2 times 1 again is 2. From here, let's simplify our fractions to make our lives a little bit easier. We have 7 minus 20, excuse me, I do that sometimes, give you the answer when I'm trying to ask a question. 40r divided by 2 is 20r. What is 30 divided by 2? 15 plus 2r equals 32. So from here, I'm looking for like terms. I see a 7 and a positive 15. So on the left side, I'm going to put 7 and positive 15 next to each other. I also see a negative 20r and a positive 2r that I'm going to put next to each other. And then I'm going to combine like terms. What is 7 plus 15? 7 plus 15 is 22. What is negative 20 plus 2? The signs are different, so we need to subtract, take 2 away from 20, and we get 18. What kind of 18? Well, since 20 is negative, and that's the bigger number, we have a negative 18r equals 32. From here, all we have left to do is solve. What's our first step in solving? Our first step in solving is to subtract 22 from both sides. From here we have negative 18r equals 10. What's our last step in solving? Our last step in solving is to divide both sides by negative 18. So we find out that r is 10 over negative 18. Now, I don't want decimal answers ever. I want you to use fraction form because most of the time when you leave it in fraction form, that is the most exact form of the answer. So we're not going to use decimals. We're only going to use fractions, but we want simplified fractions. I'm looking at 10 over negative 18. What can I divide the top and the bottom by in order to simplify the fraction? Since both of these numbers are even, I can start by dividing by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Negative 18 divided by 2 is negative 9. So the answer is 5 over negative 9. Another way to write the answer is negative 5 over 9. And the last way we can write our answer is with the negative in the front of the fraction. Negative 5 over 9. All three of these forms of the answer are correct, as long as you just have one negative sign to represent that the answer is negative. So our next problem that we want to work is number 7. Please pause this video and try number 7, and when you're finished, come back to the video and see if you worked it correctly. So to work this problem, I see a minus sign and then a parenthesis. So the first thing I need to do is put a 1 behind the minus sign, so I know I need to distribute a negative 1 inside those parentheses. I don't need to do anything with 11h quite yet. 11h just comes down. A negative 1 times 2h is negative 2h. Then negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So after we've distributed, we're looking for like terms. We have some like terms that are already right next to each other right here. 11 minus 2. What is 11 minus 2? 11 minus 2 is 9h. From here, we just have to solve. So what do we need to do next in order to solve this equation? The next thing we need to do is subtract 1 from both sides. So 9h equals 117. What is our last step? Our last step is to divide both sides by 9. So h is, and if I need to long divide, there's nothing wrong with that. Will 9 go into 1? No, but 9 will go into 11. How many times will 9 go into 11? one time. 1 times 9 is 9, subtract. 11 minus 9 is 2, bring down the 7. How many times will 9 go into 27? 9 will go into 27 3 times. 3 times 9 is 27, subtract, remainder of 0. So H is 13.